FD3 MUSIC CLUB. What up, Music Club? Peace and blessings. Blessed is the name of Yahweh Elohim, Master of all. Blessed is the name of Yeshua Mashiach, who came to show us how to line ourselves up to get our way back. Blessed are you, beautiful person, made beautiful by the love that's inside of you, that representation of Yah that you get to represent every single day of your life. Even if you only represent it to yourself. That's what's up. Yeah. So I didn't come on here to tell you that. I came on here, well, I did. That too. But I was sitting here thinking, and thinking is a form of meditation and prayer. So when you sit quietly with yourself and hopefully inside your head, you're not having the same things play on the outside of the average person, whether it be television or music, and it's talking about nothing, but maybe when you're on the inside of yourself, you ask yourself questions, and like I was sitting here chilling, enjoying meditation, and my thoughts strayed to good and evil, right and wrong, bad and good, right? Most times I'll be like, there's no such thing as good and evil, right? You either do the will of Yah or you don't. Because anybody who don't do the will of Yah is doing evil. And anybody who consciously chooses to do evil, something's wrong with them, okay? But I was thinking about psychology, how that science came and chopped things up and kind of inserted itself in the middle of that there. So now you have to, in order to get a better understanding of, for most people, that's how you got to put it. I dig it. Okay. Right? Okay, so at any rate, I usually don't look at myself, like going through life in terms of rating my own morality. Like to tell myself something like, yeah, I'm a moral person. Yeah, dude, you a decent person. You do the right thing. I don't get down like that. First of all, I'm too busy living from the inside out, right? To be trying to view myself from the outside. So I never contemplate it. I never think about it. Whenever I'm in meditation, I'm always, if I'm concentrating on myself, it's like if I had some issue or something, did I handle it right, or what could I have done, or is this a result of something lingering inside of myself that I need to examine and check out or get rid of, some things like that, right? So I hear about, I heard the term or the phrase, "You are worthy," all right? And so I'm sitting there, and that crossed my mind during my meditation, and I say, Father, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? So, and then suddenly he took my mind to things done maliciously against myself, right? And it's like nothing in particular, but in any cases where, like I said earlier, I contemplate myself and I have to check myself first before I, can think about addressing somebody else's wrong, right? So when I have issues with things, my first thought is, what did I do? How did I handle this? It's not about what the other person or the other people, whatever, right? So this is my thought process. So I'm like, this don't apply to any one particular thing or person or time or whatever, just period. Because how I generally conduct myself is across the board, and that is by the way Yahweh tells me to do, right? Pretty much, if you were in my presence, for any extended period of time, you will find that I'm quiet. Like I don't, my action don't take place outside in the physical world too much. All right. When I speak about, I speak because it's something for me to say. Uh, but if just left, like if we were in the same room, unless you had something on your mind to speak about, we would just peacefully coexist. All right. Because I'm probably meditating, and I get that because when I was a younger person growing up, reading scripture, one of the scriptures that always walked with me was pray without ceasing. And now I'm like 8 or 9 years old when I seen that one. And I asked him then, like, how you gonna look up the word ceasing? All right. I kind of knew that it meant stop, but it didn't make sense to me. All right. So I had to go get the dictionary and look up the word cease. Ceasing. All right. I was like, yeah, okay. He gave me a better form of the definition, but I had it pretty much right. So I asked Father, how do you pray without ceasing? You got to get sleepy. You got to get tired. You got to do other things, You got to go to school. You got to brush your teeth. You got to do all, that was my mode of thinking, right? So here we are, a little bit later. And that's what it's about, I started off doing like you would teach a child. Put it on your mind. Put it on my mind first, all right? It was taught to me like, get on your knees, adopt a hand pose, and speak. You can speak with your mouth or you can speak in your head, right? So my early prayers like that were always out loud because I didn't know how to pray inside my head. It didn't make sense. So I started with praying out loud, but I didn't know how to pray. When I was first praying as a little kid, I knew how to imitate what I was taught and what I read, right? Which is not a bad thing. That's how you learn. That's why I'm telling you this, because these are stages of development to increase your prayer life and your ability to pray without ceasing. So pay attention. I'm going somewhere. All right. So I went from that mode to asking the Father, how can I pray without using my words, like through my mouth? Didn't make sense. So, and I'm also showing you how you get your prayers answered. I didn't have to go and ask my mother or my father or my aunts or my uncles or teachers or nobody. I asked Yah inside of me. Okay? So, eventually, I also remember reading in there, if you don't know, then you are innocent. But once you know and you still do, then you are guilty. Okay? Rashol said that. Or Paul, the apostle. Okay? So I said, I want to know. So how do I do that? And then basically he tell me, just like you do outside, do on the inside. All right? So to make sense to you more, just like you talk, you think. All right? Now that also helped me with my writing skills later on when I went to school, because I want to be able to write what I think in the way that I think. So I had to train my brain to listen to my words and to put it right there as they come out. Now back to the prayer thing. Same thing. Previously, when I was using my words, adopting the pose of being on my knees with my hands clasped, I would verbally pray. Now, I'm asking, how can I pray without ceasing? I'm still on the road to praying without ceasing. This is just step two. Step two is, how can I pray without using my words? That was a question to myself. So eventually, he showed me, just like you speak, train your thoughts to slow down and be confined to your words. I know it sounds kind of head trippy, because it is kind of head trippy. Because you conversating with the spirit inside yourself. And so you're using your physical body and your brain as a conduit to your spirit self, your higher self. All right? And so bear with me. You gotta get on your spiritual. I'm just saying. This type of things Yeshua will teach, because this type of thing that help you to defend yourself, and to become strong and to walk bold and know that your steps are righteous, and you good with that. It's all good. Anyway, the prayer thing. So once I got more proficient with not using my words, at first I remember, you know how it is when you first learn something. I'm all excited. I don't know how old I was, maybe 7 or 8 still, like maybe 9. Nah, about 9 or 10 I was doing other things, but I was 7 or 8 anyway. I was still, and I was really happy and excited. I used to get my word and go to my room with my words in my room. I would read, and then I would see, when I used to read, though, I have to tell you this setup. I used to have my word, my dictionary, and encyclopedia was in the living room, the whole set. Every once in a while I had to go because the dictionary couldn't answer some of my questions. Most of my questions were confined to, what does this mean? Where does that word come from? Things like that. So that's what I used to do. I used to read the word, and then I would take time. Didn't know it at the time. They would later call it meditation. I would take time and space to sit in what I thought and ask my questions and sit there and listen to him tell me or show me whatever. So anyway, developing prayer. That's what I'm on. Right now, I'm using you to work on focusing for, and I don't want to say an extended period of time, but for longer than I usually do on one thing. Okay, so I'm sticking with the prayer thing. All right, it's development of prayer without ceasing. All right, so now I'm used to not using my verbal words. So now I start asking questions. I'm like, man, when I go to church, everybody get on their knees. And that's how you pray. Catholic people did it different when I went to Catholic school. Okay, I'm not going to go down that because then I get into the theology lessons. Then I start asking them type of questions. But okay, so my question to him then after that was, okay, so now I know this. And if I don't have to do this like this, and if I don't have to do that like that, and it counts as prayer, well, can I pray anywhere? And it might sound like a silly question now. You listen to me say, can I pray anywhere? Of course you can pray anywhere. You probably think, yeah, of course. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Why would you say something like that? Of course you can pray anywhere, right? But this is a young child mind developing, learning how to pray without ceasing. All right? So when I learned that I could, he said, try it. I'm like, okay. Not even realizing, I'm a child though, but not even realizing I was praying when I was communicating with him then. So I tried it, sitting on the couch. See, back in the day, there was the living room was basically for company and television, and music. I had a stereo in the living room. So when I would be in my room, I would be in my room, just me. Again, back in the day, a family the size of 3, you could spend a lot of time in the quiet house. Parents gone, either they say at work or in their own room or doing whatever. So anywho, I gotta keep focused, praying without ceasing. The steps. All right. So now I went to the living room and I sat on the couch. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. And I actually formulated thoughts of prayer. And then the Spirit reassured me. It was like, see, that wasn't that hard, huh? Like, oh, okay. So is there certain times that I got to get on my knees and put my hands together to pray? He's like, no, why would there be a certain time? I'm like, well, they do it at church. That's the only time I see people do it. Well, that wasn't true, though, because I had relatives that I seen do it, too. Not often, but they were there. So he said, do you want to do it at church? I'm like, nope. So I never did it at church. Everybody else do it. I just sit there, just look dumb. Anywho, this is about me learning to pray without ceasing. So now I'm to the point where I don't have to use my verbal words. I can change my verbal words to confining my thoughts to the structure of the words, the head tricky part, right? Because it's the thoughts that formulate the words, right? And then the thoughts gotta conform themselves down to the center of the words. I know, but that's how you strike power into your words. Anywho, that's something else. Pray without ceasing. So now, okay, I did that. So now I can pray just using my mind, no verbal words, and I then tested the limits and broke through the limits of having to pray on my knees with my hands together and only in certain places. All right. So now, fast forward, I think my prayer life is pretty good. Me, I say, because shoot. Well, okay, development stages. I started off with the one time in the morning. I thought I was rocking. Yeah, that's right. I got this, right? Then I got older and I examined religions and I discovered people pray more than one time a day. Okay, so I'm not jumping down a rabbit hole of things that I chased after, going like I'm trying to stay focused. As part of my exercise here is to stay focused on one subject longer than I usually do. Okay, I'm doing pretty good too. Okay, so and the subject is my development of praying without ceasing. It's a prayer without ceasing. Because I didn't understand that. That's why I asked Father, what does that mean when I read it? Okay, I was a child. Just for those who recap. All right, so now I learned people pray more than one time a day. So I asked y'all and me, I'm like, can I pray more than one time a day? Like, Is it going to increase something, or am I going to feel different, or I'm going to learn something faster or something? He told me what he always tell me, try it. But I didn't know how to try it because being young, I was trapped in the cage of what everybody else has done. So I wasn't in a program of religion. I was raised in. I wasn't feeling it. I would do the show up because some adult forced me to show up. Okay. But I knew what was going on and everything, right? I just would always have these type of conversations inside myself while they up there doing things that just didn't make sense to me. Okay, pray without ceasing. That's what I'm at. So, I was unsure of how to give myself permission to pray more than one time a day, because my only example up until that point in the physical world was through religions, different religions. So for a while, I didn't mess with it at all. I just put it in my own head and put myself in the prison of saying, okay, the weirdos pray more than one time a day. I don't know what they on. There must be some wicked, crazy, twisted stuff. I ain't messing with it. Okay, so then fast forward to the next time it bothered me. It kept nagging in the back of my brain, the back of my brain, the back of my brain. Pray without ceasing. I still want to know how to pray without ceasing. So I decided to try the other religions. That gave me the opportunity to see, why do you pray more than one time a day? Where does it come from? I got to learn it, right? And actually, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna get off subject, but when I practiced in Islam, it greatly increased my prayer life because I was on a mission to learn about praying without ceasing. And they prayed the most times of all the other religions that I had run across. So, and then they have the month of Ramadan where you can pray like 8 times in a day. I used to be all through the night, me. So at any rate, development of praying without ceasing. Okay, so that experience increased my discipline. That's what it's all about, training your own mind to do what it is your soul wills it to do. It's up to you what mission you're gonna put yourself on, or what mission. That's between you and the spirit, right? This was part of my mission at the time. How to answer the question of praying without ceasing. Is it possible? How can I do it? I didn't question if it was possible because it was in the Word, and it wasn't one of those things that had been, politically. It came from Scripture. Okay, so I wanted to know. I believed it, but I need to know how can I achieve praying without ceasing. Are there people that do it? Is anybody else out here know how to pray without ceasing? I think I might even ask a couple people, adults around me, and I'm pretty sure they gave me a dumb answer. Anywho, pray without ceasing. That's stay focused. All right, so I increased my discipline through Islam, my prayer discipline. When my time was up with Islam, I left after 8 years and continued my spiritual journey. I thought I was at the epitome of my prayer life once again. I'm like, yes. just more calm and more humble. Yeah. And more me. Because I'm like, listen, out of all the religions, this religion pray the most. The thing was, how I was praying and what I was praying to didn't line up with my soul. My spirit would not rest with that. I didn't understand at the time. I'm like, it don't make sense. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. It taught me a lot. I feel like I got my prayer life, a little tight, a little, man, so I didn't get it at the time. So anyway, I had to stay focused. That's what I need to do. Stay pray without ceasing. So fast forward, meditation. I met the term meditation. I met it somewhere in the 90s, but never gave it any thought. No, maybe somewhere in the 80s I met it. 1980s, yeah. Never gave it much thought. Don't care about that stuff. Didn't think I needed to zen myself. Just didn't make sense to me. So anywho, when I rediscovered in myself meditation, I'm like, you know what? Let's go hand in hand with prayer. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but it happens on a different frequency. But anywho, it works, right? So through meditation, I made a connection, but that's not how I perceived it. I perceived it as I made the connection. Through prayer, I don't know. At any rate, one day, okay, that's how it was. One day, the question came back up to me about praying without ceasing. Did I ever learn how to pray without ceasing? And I hadn't thought about it for years, so it was just a little, one of the little side random things you think about, like, when was the last time I ate a ding dong or something, Hostess cupcake, that's what I'm talking about. I ain't down to the funny stuff. Yes, I like Hostess cupcakes. Suzy Q's, oh goodness. Can't eat too many of them though. I sit there and eat a whole box, but then I can't eat it again for like a year. Anywho, pray without ceasing, stay focused. That's what I'm doing. So anyway, I asked myself the question one day about, hey, did you ever learn how to pray without ceasing? And discovered that I was doing it. Through my conscious efforts and discipline of consciously discipline my physical self into some form or another in order to bolster my thinking, they work together. Just a little tidbit for you for disciplining yourself. You need not only the thought, but something in the physical world to focus, hold on to help you. You might be really, really, really super good already and you don't need it. But more likely than not, you start off meditating and join your journey to pray without ceasing, you're gonna need something. You have to stand on one. That's how they do yoga. That's how they part of yoga. They stand in poses. You're supposed to be praying, and meditating, focusing on what it is you think of. Anyway, no, I don't do yoga. I think yoga is kind of cool though. I learned a lot watching people do yoga. Oh, focus. Okay, so as I discovered that I was doing it not only through my verbal, because I was still, and I still today, I would, after a rest period, when I reawaken, I sometimes use my verbal words. A lot of times I do. Just to state what they call the Our Father, part of Scripture, as Yeshua instructed for our daily trek. Oh, and then through nonverbal communication that I've done all my life. You have to. Just haven't been aware of it. Now you know who you've been talking to in yourself. You're not crazy. That's where your creator has, that's where he resides. That's where he put his house, inside of you. And then Yeshua came to lift the veil to let you know you don't need to do all this crazy stuff no more. Just go inside here and discipline yourself, right? That's why scripture tells us, hold on to discipline. Don't let her go. Anyway, that's how I discovered how to pray without ceasing. So now, you know what I did to get to the point of praying without ceasing. But I don't think that's where I started at. I was sitting here meditating tonight about good and evil, and the question came to me, not for the first time, how do I think or feel about people who do things against me? I don't never contemplate it because it's like, I really don't think about it too much. And then there was a phrase, you are worth it, so I did not ask the Father in me. I'm like, Yahweh, why do you keep bringing this to me? Like, as if there was, I don't know, I had to think about it, you know? So I ended up saying, justice is justice. And everybody deserves justice. I haven't, in the 3D world, meted out justice to those that needed justice. But spiritually, I guess I've always done that. And so I don't really mess with the 3D world stuff because, you know, that's not my realm. I believe, though, that justice should be the same for people who do stuff against me and anybody else who is righteous. That's what laws are supposed to be for. Well, human laws are made to defend the unrighteous. I don't have to stay focused. But being righteous is the law of heaven. You know, that's why Yeshua said the things that he did. The most important thing for a human is love, right? You can't get no better than that because through love won't allow me to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Love won't allow me to bother your mind, you know, consciously, purposely, be a stumbling block in your way. You know, love will convince me to be a good neighbor. Love will convince me to have compassion for your child like I would have for mine. You know, love does a lot of things. You know, love covers a multitude of sins. Yah is love, right? That's the law. Man make laws to cover tracks for breaking the law. Shoot somebody. Well, let's see. Did you shoot him in the leg, or did you shoot him in the stomach, or did you shoot him in the chest, or did you shoot him in the head? That will determine what we will call what you've done. That will also determine your punishment. But see, the law of heaven is I should be conducting myself properly. Everybody else should be conducting themselves properly or on the road to doing that. So we never even get to the point of somebody shooting somebody. But if somebody is so deranged as to do harm to another, Spirit got something for that. If somebody uses that to take another's life in the 3D world, justice says that life should be taken. Spirit says if a person tries in their head with the intent, no, you make the intent to take a person's life, whether he or she is successful or not. In 3D, it should translate to you should die. That's the law. But as long as you walking according to the law, there's no need for a man's law. Because everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they're helping each other get there. You understand what I'm saying? That way you don't have a deranged leader waging wars on people who ain't done nothing to you, but he can call you up and say you're going to go and wage war on these people. We're gonna take your money and wage war on these people because I got a problem. Because the people will be like, no, it's not right. It's just not right. Ain't nobody over here doing nothing to my people. If you wasn't doing evil, then them people wouldn't be mad over there. I'm just saying, it works across the board. Maybe I didn't keep my focus again. You know what? I didn't deliver what I had to deliver. I'm out of here. We love you at the FD3 MUSIC CLUB. As always, Yahweh, your Elohim loves you most. I love you, Kimmy Pooh. Prayer without ceasing. You know what? That's not a bad goal. You know, so try it. Challenge yourself. I got a bunch of, I don't know if they still do it, but when I won't say introduced, when I became aware of YouTube videos, there was a lot of people making challenges. Yeah, there's a challenge. Discover how to pray without ceasing. You will learn a lot about yourself. And don't be afraid to explore. You know? How you gonna know if the light is on if you've forever been without sight? How you gonna know how to do right if you don't have an example of wrong? I'm just saying, if you're on your journey to align yourself with the spirit of Yah, just be aware that the world is your class. You're not gonna die if you learn what other people do. And then you act according to the spirit in you. That was a struggle of mine. When I would go to different religious functions, I would always be asking the Father, man, I'm not this. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in this. I don't that, you know what I'm saying? Dude said that, he do that stuff, and he was a break. And he just tell me, just learn. You know me. I'm with you. Just learn. So I'm encouraging you to not only that, but in life, period. Try your boundaries in the righteous way. You know what I'm saying? Push your boundaries. Ask questions. Ask yourself questions. And then, if you're righteous, stand on it. All right. You still on my device though, and I'm just not understanding because I'm pretty sure I said what I had to say. Bid you good night. Did I bid you good night? Good night. Yes, have a great night. And if you're gonna rest well. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Rest well. And I hope that's enough to help you carry it to your trip. Something that will connect you to the pleasantness that you can find in your dreams. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just looking at the text here. You have to bear with me and forgive me. Hello, everybody who spoke. Peace and blessings. Grand rising and all that good stuff. I'm new to doing this is the first time I've actually really looked at this and read anything on here. My day is going well, actually. It's a pleasant day, beautiful day. It's just wonderful. How's your day? Ah, who's the person in the background? Would you like to know? Maybe I'll tell you one day. Maybe I won't. Looking good? Thank you. I'm sure you look good too. Do I read chat? Right now I do. Hello? Hello. If you don't read my messages, I might leave. Peace and blessings. I'm back and I'm still here. You there? Of course. Where else would I be? Please talk, man. Okay, it's one of those funny people. Anywho, hope you had a great time. Thanks for hanging out at the FD3 MUSIC CLUB. We love you. Yahweh Elohim loves you most. And me, I love you, Kimiko. Peace. One love under Yah. And wish you the best on your journey to pray without ceasing. FD3 MUSIC CLUB.